Does this egg taste like chocolate? Does this egg taste like blue raspberry? Does this only go with green eggs and ham? No, they don't. But you know what? I just got asked a question from one of my friend's kids on where did chicken egg colors come from? So today, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. Welcome back to Jurassic Peck Farms. I'm Marjorie, and today I'm going to go over with you what makes a chicken egg a certain color. Come sit down with me. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the difference in the chickens and the chicken color egg types and how it happens, and then I'm going to go show you which of my chickens lays each one of these eggs, or at least attempt to chase them down to do so. So I'm going to tell you what certain chickens lay certain eggs and why they do so. In my flock, I have a variety of chickens. I have chickens that we call bantams, which are small chickens. They're like the Silky, if you watch the Silky video. One's a little bit bigger than that. And then I have big chickens. I've had Barred Rocks, I have Rhode Island Reds, I have Astorlorps, Wyandottes, I have them all. Or Winadettes. I actually never really learned how to pronounce that, so I'm going to put it on the screen. There. I actually never learned how to pronounce that well, so I winged it. Kind of like when you read a name in a book and then all of a sudden you hear the audiobook or you watch the movie and you're like, oh, I made a huge mistake. So if I mispronounce one, bear with me. So I have a variety of chickens in my flock. I like a colorful flock. I love a colorful egg basket, and I just like the different types of chickens that there are. There's nothing wrong with keeping a full flock of all one type of chicken. I just like a little variety and a little fun mixed in with my flock. That being said, I do have a variety of egg colors as well. So I don't really have any white egg layers at the moment. I have chickens that will lay a lighter egg, like my Silkies lay a very light brown egg that sometimes can look white. I've had a chicken in the past that did lay a white egg, but they're no longer with us, unfortunately. But I mostly have brown egg layers, light brown egg layers or medium brown egg layers. I have a couple dark egg layers. I have some actual blue, like real blue eggs. I have some blue-green eggs, and then I actually have like an olive egger, which lays green eggs. I have a chicken right now that's laying a light pink egg as well. So there's just a variety of chickens and a variety of colored eggs that you can get. You're not just going to always get brown or white. Also, fun fact, they all have the same nutritional value. None of them are different. What makes them different in nutrition is how the chickens are raised, what kind of feed you give them, how much protein you give them. Are they free range or are they in a cage like mass-produced eggs? And I'll go over a little bit about that, but first, let's get into the color piece. Okay, so you might be asking yourself, what actually makes the difference between a brown egg and a white egg? The answer is really nothing. Both eggs start as a white egg. All eggs for chickens start as a white egg. They get a pigment added to them at a certain point in the laying process and the egg production process inside the chicken that give it that special color on the outside. So for example, a chicken like a leghorn, which is the most commonly used chicken in mass-produced chicken farms, they lay a white egg. It's standard. It's probably what you see in the grocery store. They lay very frequently. They don't need a lot of feed. They can actually feed them like just corn. They're going to lay a white egg. There's no pigment added to that egg when it comes out of the chicken. Now, a chicken, when it lays the egg, they put what we call like a bloom over the egg that protects the egg from air getting into it as quickly, which is why a lot of eggs, if they're not washed, are actually shelf stable for a couple weeks before you either need to wash and refrigerate them or just refrigerate them or eat them. They're all good. So the way that a chicken works is, this isn't very scientific, but this is just like a good visual. They have like a little paint sprayer when they go to lay the egg, and it coats the egg in a certain color. So all eggs start white. So if you have a brown egg layer or a dark brown egg layer, when the egg is being laid about 6 hours or so before, it basically coats the egg as it's being laid in like a brown paint, if you will, or dye. And it coats it. So it can do a bunch of different things. Like if it's a spotted egg, it might look like, you know, it has a little extra paint sprayers here and there. So that's what happens with a brown egg. All those in that brown egg layer mix, that's how that works. For a blue egg, it's kind of cool. So there are chickens called Easter eggers that lay like a brownish blue green-y egg. Those aren't true blue egg layers, but they do look blue. But when you put them next to an egg from, say, like an Americana that lays a true blue, like almost baby blue egg, it does look different. And the reason is because that pigment that chicken lays for the Americana is an actual blue dye that will penetrate the egg shell when it's being formed, so it actually looks like it's blue on the inside. If you crack open a brown egg, it's actually white on the inside because it's just a coating on the outside of the egg. But the Americanas, which I have 2 of right now, I have Salt and Pepper, they lay like a really beautiful baby blue egg, and it actually looks baby blue when you crack it open. It's kind of cool. We also have green egg layers. So you might be asking, well, how does a green egg layer work? A green egg layer is kind of a mixed chicken. They're not, I have an olive egger. I have 2 right now. I also have Easter eggers can lay a green egg because they are a mixed breed. You can actually tell an olive egger is a mix between a brown chicken, a chicken that lays a brown egg, not a brown chicken, although they can be, a chicken that lays a brown egg and a chicken that lays a blue egg, and they come together and they make that green egg. Now you can get really dark olive green eggs, like really, really dark ones. I don't actually have any that lay that dark. I have one that lays kind of like a speckly egg. So if you take one of our dark brown egg layers, like a copper Moran, for instance, and cross it with an Americana, you might get that darker green olive egg. But a general olive egger lays like a dark, like an olive, it literally is an olive egg. It's really cool looking. Kind of freaked me out at first, but like they taste all the same, honestly. It just depends on what you feed the chicken. So when you cross a brown egg layer and a blue egg layer, you get an olive egger, and so you get that green egg. I actually really enjoy the olive eggers. I've only ever had a few. Both my girls are getting kind of old, so I'll be adding a couple more to my flock next year. I really love the variety that you can get when you have a bunch of eggs of different colors. It's just fun for me. There's nothing wrong with just all brown eggs, and there's nothing wrong with all white or blue or any of them. I just really enjoy the rainbow variety that you get because it's different. It's not something you can necessarily get in a store. And I know that a lot of people that get eggs from me, they're fascinated. They don't taste different. The only thing that makes them taste different is, once again, what you feed your chickens, how they live their life, how much protein they get, if they're doing organic, non-organic, grass-fed, just with bugs and a few extra supplements. It all depends on that. So now you might be asking yourself, what types of chickens lay colored eggs? I know I mentioned it before, but I'm going to show you. I'm going to go try to chase down some of my chickens. They're a little fast, so you're going to have to hold with me while I do this. Okay, so one of the chickens that lays a really dark brown egg is this right here. This is a black copper Moran, the one that is on the right of the screen there. You'll see they actually have feathered feet, and don't mind the one on the left. She's going through a bad molt right now, but don't worry, she'll be okay. She's actually a frizzle who lays a blue egg, by the way. This girl right here is a naked neck chicken. She actually lays kind of one of my lighter brown eggs, and sometimes she'll even lay like a very light pinky egg. This is a silky. She's adorable. She might be one of my favorites, but don't tell her because, all the other chickens are just as cute. They actually, if you notice, are smaller. So this is actually a cochin, a bantam cochin. They both lay smaller eggs, but they both lay a very small brown white egg. And so the size of the chicken does make the difference on the size of the egg. Clearly, she is much smaller than a lot of the other chickens, so she lays a smaller egg. This one right here is Gizmo. This is an Easter egger. I'm going to show you a bunch. The one walking behind her is also an Easter egger. So you can see there are a variety of differences in some of these Easter eggers. They are a crossbreed, so you get different versions of them. They all have a blue genetic egg marker. Could be a cream leg bar, could be a Welsumer. All of these chickens look very similar. She is also an Easter egger. These 2 girls here in this shot are Wyandottes. They lay a brown egg. You can get them in all different colors, like a feathering, but this one is a silver-laced Wyandotte or Wyandotte, or I don't know how to pronounce it. That's the one I mentioned earlier. As you can see, she is very friendly and loves to be around the camera. The red chicken right there, her name is actually Red, but very getting a little stretch in. She is a Rhode Island Red. She lays a brown egg. And then the one that's kind of falling asleep right behind her, that is a copper Moran, and she Actually lays like a speckled brown egg that's kind of dark. It's very pretty. This right here is Blueberry. She is a bantam Easter egger, so she lays a tiny little blue egg. Honestly, it's adorable. She's been with me for about 4.5 years, I think now. This is a white Plymouth Rock. She is, well, she lays a brown egg, and this Silky that's causing chaos is a little broody right now. Butterscotch does trying to get some food and cool off. It got a little hot in the coop. But she also lays a kind of white brown egg, very small. Here comes one of my oldest chickens. This is Espresso. She's an Astrolorp, brown egg. If I had to guess, she probably just laid one. And then the other girl getting some water over there is a Welsomer, and she lays a brown spotted egg. If I had to guess, she probably was the one that laid the egg on the ground, although it is a little small for her. And then coming up right here, this is Tuffet. She is an olive egger. So you can see she does kind of look, oh, very pretty. You can see she does look a little bit like Clementine in the back there, but she is an olive egger. So she does have speckles on her eggs. So if I had to guess, she's a mix between a cream leg bar or something along those lines, since they do have tufts on their head, and a Welsomer. And you can see they do have very similar patterning. The one in the back lays a brown speckled egg, and the one in the front lays a green egg. This is a Buff Orpington. She lays a brown egg, like a light brown egg. Both of my Orpingtons do. I have a lavender as well. So you can kind of see in the background here, that little white and gray is a Splash Americana. She lays a light blue egg that actually is blue all the way through. She has a sister who is a little less speckly than she is, and she's taking a nap somewhere, and every time I try to get close to her, she runs away. They are a little bit more flighty as a bird, but they aren't too bad, and she doesn't cause a ton of chaos. One thing you'll see is Butterscotch right there is actually scratching around where the oyster shells are. One of the things that chickens need is calcium to help their shells of the egg stay intact, because you can have a bunch of problems if they don't have enough calcium. They can get it from multiple places, but the easiest way that I have found is just to go get some oyster shells and put them into a free-range bucket where they can get them as they need. So as you can see, they're just in a bucket. They've already been digging through them today. I refilled it. Getting the calcium they need. That way it won't take it from their skeletal structure and their eggshells will stay nice and tough and strong. Okay, so now that we've gone over what chickens lay, what kind of eggs, and the different colors, I'm going to actually show you the colors of the eggs that my chickens lay. So these two right here are from my Americana. One of the two girls laid either one of these. I don't know which one particular because I don't remember what day they laid them, but those are blue. So you can see these two right here are laid by some of my Easter eggers. So you can see they're slightly different. They're a little more green than blue. When I'm looking at those, like if you just were to pull this one up, it would look blue. But when you put it next to one of the actual blue ones, they look green. We also have, so those two, and then I have these two right here that are laid by my olive eggers. So you can see this one is pretty much plain, but this one has some speckles on it. So that one has a speckly paint sprayer when it comes out of the chicken. Then we have these, which are just like my basic lighter brown chicken eggs. These are from either my Orpingtons or my Barred Rock will lay one of those. My white Barred Rock will lay one. Also, either one of my Astrolorps will lay one of those. This right here is one of my darker brown eggs. It does have speckles on it. It could also be from one of my Morans. So I have several Morans. I have a Splash, I have a Copper. And so it probably laid this one right here. It lays a slightly darker brown egg. This could also come from, I had a a Wyandotte or a Wyandotte that used to lay one of these darker brown eggs. This is definitely from my Welsomer. She lays a speckled egg, very speckly, darker brown and speckled. So she either lays one of these two depending on her paint sprayer. And then these also could be from either my Morans. One of my Morans actually lays a speckled egg, which is kind of funny to me. And then this is from my Copper Moran. So this was the darkest one I could find. I have had ones that are a little bit darker, but you will see, like in comparison to the two, this one is still, it's a little darker. The layering itself is closer, but this one just has speckles. Like the one that the speckles on here, I have had one of my Morans lay one of the darker eggs. It just kind of depends on their mood and what they've been eating. Now these down here, you'll notice are a little bit smaller. These in particular are coming from either, it can come from an Americana, like a new egg layer, which I don't really have, or these can come from my Blueberry, my Easter egger, my Bantam Easter egger. This is one of the Bantam Brahma eggs. It's a smaller one, or it can come from one of my Silkies. I don't know which one, because the Silkies will usually lay like this lighter egg, but I have a few Silkies. So you can see how that one is almost white looking in comparison to the others, but it is a little cream egg. Yeah, and you can see how much smaller this one is versus this one. So same coloring, just very, very much smaller. And that's the eggs. So we got blue to a bluey green to a green speckled, and then we have a light brown egg all the way down to the darkest egg layer that I currently have, that I have eggs still on hand for. And then these are my Bantam egg layers. So when you have a brand new egg layer, you can get these things that we call Bantam eggs, or as I like to call them, fart eggs. They really don't have anything in them. They're just really the egg white part of the egg. I just kept them over the years from my chickens when they lay one. They're kind of fun. They don't really have anything in them right now, and they're really light. And so they come in all different colors, so you can see like the different colors. One day I got this one, and you can see like, so this is like a dark olive egg. So compared to this one, this was from one of these egg layers, but it was their first time laying an egg, and this was one of the first eggs they lay, and you could see how dark that one is. They did end up going to the lighter one, but people can get these dark green eggs, which honestly would be really cool, like a dark olive green egg, but not yet. All right, well, I hope that explains the coloring of a chicken egg. I did dumb it down, mainly because I don't want to say the giant scientific words, but also it just makes it easier to understand for those of you that are just slightly interested. There's a lot of chicken breeding that can go into getting that really dark green egg that I showed you. That obviously was a fairy egg, so the paint was more condensed over the dye was more condensed over the egg. She did end up laying one of those lighter green eggs with the speckles on it later. So all in all, it worked out just fine, and I still have that dark green egg as evidence of something that I would love to have one day. Just an extra fun fact for you guys: chickens do not need a rooster to lay eggs. You only need a rooster if you want to have baby chicks, or if you just want a little extra predator proof. They do help keep the predators away, especially aerial predators. Really does help keep them a little safer, keep them a little together. I unfortunately live in an area where I'm not allowed to have a rooster. If I did, it would probably be a Silkie or a Brahma, or maybe even a Cochin. But anyway, I'd like to do another video where I kind of go through all the different chickens and different breeds you can have, ones that are good, that are a little more easygoing, and ones that are a little more flighty. I have had several breeds of chickens over the course of my now 6 years doing this. I just think that it was helpful for me to have a video when I was looking to get chickens, to see like which ones I really wanted. I hope that helped you understand where chicken egg color comes from, the ins and outs, the colors, the types of chickens that I have and the eggs that I have, and also the size of the egg just depends on the chicken. They all taste the same color-wise, but sometimes, you know, people want a little variety. So the eggs you eat are all the same. The eggshell just may look a little different on the outside and on the inside if it's a blue egg. I hope you found this video fun. Thanks for joining me today. I'll see you next time.